Hey everybody, this is Naomi from Spiritual Milk and Honey, and I am here to help you break those chains. That means identifying those limiting beliefs and turning them into positive transformation. So let's get it! Alright, so today's video we're going to be talking about exactly what a limiting belief is and how to overcome it. I realized that in my intro I talk about identifying limiting beliefs, but I also realized that a lot of people that are new to this channel may not be familiar with what a limiting belief is. So let's define that. A limiting belief is any thought or opinion that you may have about yourself or any particular circumstance that you may be coming up against in life that you have possibly been conditioned into believing. So believing them to be like absolute truth. So if you are an adult of any sort, you probably understand that as soon as you think that you have life figured out, life goes about a certain way of showing you that you don't have anything figured out. So everything that you are holding on to be an absolute truth is actually a detriment to your growth. These moments shift us into new belief standards and new knowledge principles that we may have been studying for a period of time. Limiting beliefs can come to you in a form of stereotypes, either stereotypes that you have about other people or stereotypes that you have about yourself. These could also be predominantly built around money. A lot of people either think that they have to work themselves to oblivion to, reap the benefits that they're seeking, but the byproduct of that is not being able to have enough time or energy to be with your family, which is the whole reason why you're working to begin with. Another one that comes up a lot is that people who make a lot of money are evil inherently. So a lot of people are taught this when they were younger, not maliciously. Our parents didn't know any better at the time. They taught us the best that they knew how, and now that we're in the next generation, we are taking up that mantle and trying to disassociate ourselves and the next generation down from having those same types of attitudes and issues from coming up and breaking those generational curses and family curses. Okay. Another familiar one that a lot of people tend to have is education. So they tend to think that if they don't have a certain type of education or if they don't have a certain type of certificate, that they can't, help anybody or be of importance, or it may just be something that they don't tend to get started in the thing that they know that they're supposed to do because they don't have the education that everybody tells them that they are supposed to have. Okay? Those are all limiting beliefs. Those are all things that are holding you down from being your highest potential of yourself. Anything at all that comes against you in that manner is a limiting belief. So you can then turn into overcoming that limiting belief. Now that we've identified the limiting belief, and I'll tell you about one that just came up for me this week, okay? The limiting belief that I have is that I'm not a functioning adult without a job, without like a 9-to-5. This is something that I've been wrestling with for quite some time. I've known for as long as I could remember that I wanted to be in business for myself. At the time, I didn't know what that business was going to be. In my early 20s, like right after I had my first child, that business in my head was I wanted to have a coffee shop where, people came and did spoken word and, had open mic nights and great food and great coffee, things of that nature. That's something that I wanted to do. At that time, I also thought that being a business owner was really like looking through catalogs and picking out kind of dishes that you wanted. I wasn't doing the work really to understand exactly what it took in order to be in business as a coffee shop owner. So I wasn't able to walk into that parallel reality of being a coffee shop owner because I didn't know what it entailed. Later on in life, that turned into I wanted to be a graphic designer, and then I wanted to be, I went to school so that I could be a business administrator. What does that mean? It means that I can type up paperwork. I already knew how to do that, so now I, have a piece of paper that tells me that I can do that. So all of these things that I wanted to be were also things that I had no idea how to do. Part of that journey, ever since I was a little, like very young, is that I've always been interested in the truth of things and the spiritual aspect of things, and how personal development and becoming your best self can fit into your purpose in life. Now that I am 40, and I'm not going to say wasted 20 years of my life, but experienced 20 years of my life in a way where I feel like I can possibly be more relatable to people who I am supposed to help in this world. Okay. That limiting belief came up for me because I did have a 9-to-5 job. One that I actually didn't want to have because I actually didn't want to have any job. I had a babysitting conflict, and I don't want to say it was easy to let it go, but I knew it was something that was coming. I feel like Spirit was really dealing with me on going full time in what it is that I want to do. Not understanding exactly the how of how that's going to happen, but just trusting and surrendering to that authority to make that happen for me. So that's what I'm doing. One of the things that I felt very called to do was that I needed to let this go, this limiting belief. So who cares if I don't look like a functioning adult because I choose not to have a traditional 9-to-5 job. My life dictates something completely different. Spirit is guiding me into something completely different and new for me, and this is how it's doing it. After identifying that limiting belief of feeling like I'm not a functioning adult without having a 9-to-5 job, I had to actually sit with it for a little bit and identify the real belief. The real belief is, what is having a job holding me to? What is it making me dependent on? And what I came up with is that I am dependent on the matrix instead of loosing myself from the matrix. So I'm becoming dependent, or not becoming, but I have always been dependent on a 9-to-5 job, a consistent paycheck, because that was safety and that was comfort. And I feel like a lot of people can identify with that sentiment. A lot of people are also going through the shift of wanting to become their own entrepreneur, and they are going through the same things that I'm going through. If you identify with that, please make sure to put a comment down below. We might be part of the same soul tribe, okay? So let's help each other and build our energy up so that we can get our dreams into a reality as well. Because the universe is abundant, and that's one thing that I want everybody to know. It's abundant. There's no lack here. There's no lack of money. There's no lack of resources. We all have the capability of tapping into Source, and Source providing for us an unlimited flow of abundance for everything that we feel like we deserve. Now that I've identified the limiting belief, and now that I then took that and I brought out the real belief that I was dependent on the matrix. First of all, I just want to let everybody know that coming up with that I'm dependent on the matrix was something that really hurt me when I was sitting with it, because how many of us can raise our hands and say that we thought that we were woke for so long and we thought that we had it all together for so long, and that simply having the knowledge of wanting to disconnect from the matrix or not wanting to be part of what society standards are is not enough for disconnecting from the matrix and being exactly the highest person that you want to be. Okay? It's not the same thing. Yes, you have the knowledge of it, but you have the knowledge of it for no reason. You're not doing anything with it. In my opinion, that is a form of casting your pearls before swine. So, let that marinate with you a little bit. That thinking and that ideology of what I just said is exactly why it was hard for me to sit with. It was also hard for me to come out of the mindset of needing to have a 9-to-5 job and that consistency and that comfortability that led me to this new belief. This new belief took me a long time, and it was mentally strenuous to come up with. It was the most mentally strenuous new belief that I think that I've ever had to come up with. So here it goes. And I just want to share this with everybody out there. I know that I'm just growing this channel, but I believe that a lot of people can actually relate to this. Okay. So the new belief is that I will create my own business because the universe is abundant. I believe that this whole limiting belief for me and for so many people is because of a mentality of scarcity and lack. We think that because we see other people achieving very high things, that the universe doesn't have enough to bestow that same blessing upon us. And we become jealous and envious, and we ask, well, how come not me? Why not me? Why are they better than me? And in reality, it's you yourself that don't believe that you deserve it. So since you believe that you don't deserve it, the universe is going to show you exactly what you believe, that you don't deserve it. So if you want to change the aspect of what you're receiving in your life, you have to create these new beliefs and identify these old limiting beliefs that are stopping you from becoming your highest self. We can get even deeper in that and indicate that there are parallel realities that are active right now that we can step in if we choose to step into it. So your higher self is actually there right now in front of you, that is wanting you to go down the path that you will achieve all of your dreams. But you have to choose that, because that means that you're going to have to take on new attitudes and you're going to have to make new actions so that you can be this higher version of yourself. That's why it's so important to identify these limiting beliefs, to understand what the real belief behind these limiting beliefs are, and to actively and consciously create a new belief for that old limiting belief system. Once you create that new belief, you then have to act it out. You have to shift yourself into becoming that person who would believe this. What type of person would believe that they are going to create their own business and that it would be successful because the universe is abundant? What type of person would believe that? Well, somebody who isn't in a scarcity mindset, somebody who isn't afraid to take any risks, someone who has a plethora of ways to make money and income. Those are the type of people who would say that. Those are the type of people who would believe that. How do they dress? How do they look? How do they eat? Those are all the types of things that you're going to have to think of to overcome this. Okay? So I just wanted to share that. This was something that came to me about 2 days ago, and I really had to sit with it. And I'm not going to lie, I got a little funky attitude about it. I even stopped meditating for a day just to really be able to sit with it and feel all the feels that I needed to feel to get through this. So, again, what is a limiting belief? A limiting belief is a thought or opinion about yourself or other people or situations that may be holding you back from becoming your higher version of yourself. Okay? How do we overcome these limiting beliefs? The first way is that we have to identify what that limiting belief is. You may have to just, consciously warn yourself, whoa, hold on. This feels like a limiting belief. What is the limiting belief that I'm letting myself believe right now? Write it down. I am not a functioning adult if I don't have a 9-to-5 job. Okay, cool. So, I'm not a functioning adult if I don't have a 9-to-5 job. What's the real belief behind that? The real belief is not something that you can touch or see or feel or smell. It doesn't revolve around these 5 senses. The real belief is something that's only available to you in here or in here. Okay? So the real belief behind not being a functional adult, having a 9-to-5 job, is that I am dependent on the matrix. That's the real belief. And then after that, you are in charge of consciously creating the new belief that shifts you into being the person who you want to become, because it's only the person who you want to become that's going to bring about the abundance that the universe has for you, because you'll be acting and operating in alignment with who you are or who you're supposed to be, to shift into a positive reality instead of this old humdrum that you've been accepting and just waking up every day and going to work and eating the same things and thinking the same thoughts over and over again, like you're living some sort of program. And I'm sure that you felt it. I feel it all the time. If I have 3 days that feel the same, or I'm thinking the same thoughts, I'm all over that. Like, what is going on? Why do I feel this way? I got to shift something. I got to change something. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I hope that this may have helped some people understand what they may be going through at this time. There's a lot of energy shifts that's coming up with the collective consciousness and things of that nature. So be aware of it and utilize this time frame to make some very powerful shifts happen for you in this world, okay? Okay, this is Naomi for Spiritual Milk and Honey, and I am signing off right now. Hey guys, one quick thing. If you guys like this type of video style, or are interested in any certain topics, or even know somebody that may be interested in topics like these, please feel free to pass this along to them. Please like and subscribe down below. If you so choose, please give us a like on Facebook or Instagram. We are attempting to grow a community here. We are new in the spiritual community and hope to be a well-known brand here pretty soon, okay? Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. And much love to all of you.